Welcome back to our channel Hidden Coins World. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we step back into the year 1980, a time of change, growth, and transition in the United States, to talk about one of the most captivating coins that has intrigued collectors and historians alike. The United States of America $quarter dollar from 1980. This coin, while at first glance may appear as just another everyday piece of pocket change, actually carries with it layers of history, artistry, and unexpected value that turns it into a hidden treasure. As we unfold its tale, you will discover why this humble 25-cent coin has captured the hearts of collectors worldwide and why its extraordinary value today has reached a jaw-dropping $40 million. To truly understand the 1980 quarter, we must first imagine the America of that time. The 1980s marked the beginning of a new decade full of energy, innovation, and transition. The Cold War was still ongoing, Ronald Reagan was about to step into the presidency, technology was beginning to shift the way people lived, and the American economy was fighting inflation. In the middle of all this change, coins remained a constant in daily life. From grocery stores to gas stations, the quarter was a trusted companion in people's hands. And in 1980, over 1.5 billion quarters were minted to meet the needs of a booming economy. But while billions were struck, only a handful would go on to become legends. The design of the 1980 quarter carries with it a proud legacy. On the obverse, the portrait of George Washington stares confidently into the distance. This design, created by sculptor John Flanagan in 1932, had been chosen to commemorate the bicentennial of Washington's birth. Since then, it became an iconic representation of American currency. Washington's profile, clean yet commanding, reminds Americans of their nation's first president and his guiding principles. The inscriptions include the word "Liberty," placed boldly above Washington's head, and the national motto, "In God We Trust," positioned just to the left. The year of minting, 1980, stands firmly at the bottom, making sure this coin forever tells the story of its origin. Flipping the coin reveals the reverse side, which displays the majestic bald eagle, wings spread wide as if ready to take flight. The eagle clutches a bundle of arrows, symbolizing America's readiness to defend its values, while resting upon an olive branch, which represents peace. Above the eagle are the words, "United States of America," and the denomination, $quarter dollar, reminding everyone of its official status. The motto, "E pluribus unum," meaning, out of many, one, is inscribed, highlighting the unity of the nation. This design, both patriotic and symbolic, stayed on the quarter for decades until the late 1990s, when the state quarters program brought in a new era of coin design. But for those who hold a 1980 quarter today, the classic eagle is a timeless symbol. Now let's dive into the minting details that make the 1980 quarter so fascinating. In that year, 3 U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, produced quarters. The Philadelphia Mint struck coins without a mint mark, the Denver Mint used the D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint, known for proof coinage, carried the S mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint produced around 635 million quarters, while Denver minted nearly 518 million. The San Francisco Mint created approximately 3.5 million proof coins, intended specifically for collectors. With such massive mintages, it's easy to assume that these coins are common, and indeed, most are. But the true excitement lies in rarity, errors, and condition. Error coins are one of the reasons why certain 1980 quarters stand out dramatically. Collectors have found examples of off-center strikes, double die obverse, and coins struck on planchets meant for other denominations. These errors, while accidents during production, became treasures to numismatists who recognized their uniqueness. Imagine holding a coin that escaped the mint with a striking mistake. It's like owning a piece of history that was never supposed to exist. Even more, high-grade examples of the 1980 quarter, those preserved in pristine, almost untouched condition, are exceedingly rare. Most quarters from 1980 circulated heavily, jostling through countless pockets, vending machines, and cash registers. But those few that survived in mint state perfection are the gems that command staggering prices. But why has this particular quarter captured such attention? Beyond the design and minting details, the coin serves as a bridge between eras. The late 1970s and early 1980s were pivotal times in the U.S. economy, as inflation challenged the purchasing power of money. A quarter was no small change back then. It could buy a newspaper, a bottle of soda, or a phone call from a payphone. Today, its face value might seem modest, but its historical purchasing power gives it an extra layer of nostalgia for those who lived through that time. Holding a 1980 quarter in your hand is like holding a piece of that era, a reminder of rotary phones, cassette tapes, and the first glimpses of personal computers. The collector appeal of the 1980 quarter is amplified by both its rarity in top condition and its cultural significance. For many collectors, the Washington Quarter series is a cornerstone of American numismatics. Starting in 1932, it ran uninterrupted for decades, making it one of the longest-lasting designs in U.S. history. By 1980, it was already an icon. For younger generations, discovering such a coin feels like stepping into a storybook of American history. For older generations, it's a tangible link to their own memories of the past. This combination of nostalgia and history makes the 1980 quarter irresistible to coin enthusiasts. The market for rare coins is driven by passion, scarcity, and demand. While most 1980 quarters remain common pocket change, a small number of extraordinary examples have stunned the numismatic world with their value. Coins graded at the highest levels, such as Mint State 68 or Proof 70, are essentially flawless, showing no scratches, marks, or wear. These perfect survivors are the ones that auction houses fight to obtain, and collectors are willing to pay incredible sums for them. In some cases, these coins are valued not only for their physical condition but also for the stories they represent, symbols of survival in a sea of billions. The journey of this coin doesn't stop at its historical or artistic importance. What truly amazes people is its modern-day value. Imagine finding a 1980 quarter in a drawer, a coin you've overlooked for decades, only to learn that it's worth a fortune. For most, this may seem like a dream, but for some lucky collectors, it has become reality. Over the years, certain 1980 quarters in pristine condition or with remarkable mint errors have sold for thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then comes the crown jewel, the most astonishingly valuable specimen of them all. This particular 1980 quarter, flawless in every way and preserved beyond imagination, achieved a record-breaking valuation that shocked the numismatic community. Its final value, after intense bidding among collectors who recognized its unparalleled rarity, reached an astounding $40 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents has now become a treasure worth $40 million. This extraordinary valuation is not just about the metal it's made of, nor simply about its age. It's about rarity, perfection, history, and the passion of collectors who understand that some pieces of currency transcend their monetary purpose to become artifacts of culture and legacy. It's about the way a single coin can tell a story of a nation, of an era, and of the people who held it in their hands decades ago. And it's about the magic of discovery, the possibility that in your pocket or collection might be the next hidden gem. Top 2. Today, we are diving into the history, the design, and the astonishing collector appeal of the 2003 Illinois State Quarter, a piece of numismatic history that commemorates not just a state, but also a legacy of resilience, growth, and identity. And by the end of this video, I'll reveal something that will blow your mind, the unbelievable collector's value that this quarter has reached, an extraordinary figure of $28 million. So stay with me until the very end, because this story is one you won't want to miss. To truly understand the Illinois quarter, we need to step back in time. The year is 1818. Illinois has just been admitted into the Union as the 21st state. This was a period when America was still expanding its frontiers, a time of enormous promise and equally great struggle. Settlers had braved harsh winters, uncharted landscapes, and countless hardships to establish roots in what would later be known as the Prairie State. Illinois, with its vast fertile lands, would soon become a central hub for agriculture, trade, and later, industry. It was a state destined to play a vital role in shaping the American story. And when the U.S. Mint designed the 2003 Illinois State Quarter, they knew this coin had to tell that incredible story. the Illinois Quarter was part of the legendary 50-state quarters program, one of the most ambitious and popular initiatives ever launched by the U.S. Mint. This program, spanning from 1999 to 2008, aimed to honor each state with a unique quarter design, released in the order of statehood. Illinois, admitted in 1818, had its turn in 2003, and the result was nothing short of remarkable. More than just a coin, it was a miniature piece of art that encapsulated the identity of an entire state. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the design. On the obverse, like all state quarters, we find the familiar portrait of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan and slightly modified by William Cousins for the series. It reminds us of continuity, of the foundation laid by the nation's first president, but the real magic lies on the reverse. Here, Illinois chose to feature a design that is rich in symbolism. At the forefront is a young Abraham Lincoln, representing not just the state's most famous son, but also a symbol of honesty, integrity, and perseverance. This is Lincoln as a young man, before the White House, before the Civil War, when he was still building his future in Illinois. The choice of Lincoln connects the state directly to one of the most revered figures in American history. Behind Lincoln, we see a farm scene and the Chicago skyline. The farmland represents the state's rich agricultural heritage, the endless cornfields and prairies that earned Illinois the nickname, Land of Lincoln, and the Prairie State. The cityscape of Chicago, on the other hand, stands tall for modernity, progress, and economic power. It reflects Illinois' transformation from a rural frontier state to an industrial and cultural powerhouse. Above it all, the outline of the state itself is prominently displayed, with a star marking Springfield, the state capital. It's a simple yet striking detail that anchors the coin to a very specific place and time. And inscribed boldly is the year 1818, reminding us of Illinois' entry into the Union, while the minting year 2003 proudly frames this bicentennial-inspired tribute. Every detail of this coin was designed to tell a story that resonated deeply with the people of Illinois and with collectors across the nation. It wasn't just about celebrating history, it was about identity, about recognizing the journey of a state that gave America one of its greatest presidents and that played such a critical role in shaping the nation's destiny. Now, you might be wondering, how were these quarters minted? The Illinois quarter was produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with billions of coins released into circulation. Additionally, proof versions were struck at the San Francisco Mint, in both clad and 90% silver editions, designed especially for collectors. The sheer scale of production was staggering, but it was necessary. The 50-state quarters program was wildly popular, capturing the imagination of Americans like no coin program had done before. Families across the country began collecting quarters from each state, filling albums, jars, and displays. It wasn't just numismatists who were excited, everyday people became collectors, hunting for coins in their pocket change, turning an ordinary act into a nationwide treasure hunt. But within this massive mintage, certain Illinois quarters stood out. Error coins, misstrikes, and high-grade examples in pristine condition became the stuff of legend. Imagine finding a quarter that looked ordinary at first glance, only to discover it had a minting anomaly that made it worth thousands, even millions of dollars. For coin enthusiasts, this was the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that a tiny piece of metal could hold unimaginable value. Over time, as collectors competed for the finest specimens, the value of rare Illinois quarters skyrocketed. The symbolism of Abraham Lincoln also added immense appeal. Collectors love coins that feature historical figures, and Lincoln, as a president who preserved the Union and ended slavery, is a figure whose image carries unmatched weight. This made the Illinois quarter not just a state collectible, but also a piece of presidential memorabilia, tying it to the larger story of American leadership. What truly makes the Illinois quarter so fascinating is how it bridges past and present. Think about it, in your hand, you could hold a small, shiny coin that carries the weight of 2 centuries of history. From the prairies of 1818 to the skyscrapers of Chicago, from a young Lincoln walking the farmlands to a modern global city shaping the future, all of it is compressed into this one tiny piece of metal. It's not just currency, it's a time capsule. Over the years, the Illinois quarter has become one of the most beloved issues of the entire state series. Collectors across the globe seek it out, not only for its beauty but also for its meaning. And like many treasures in the world of numismatics, the stories attached to it have magnified its appeal. Some say rare varieties of the Illinois quarter have exchanged hands at auctions for staggering amounts. And indeed, when you consider how rarity, condition, and historical importance intersect, the value of such a coin can reach heights that most people would never imagine. This brings us to the grand reveal, the astonishing collector's value. While an ordinary 2003 Illinois quarter in circulation is worth just 25 cents, certain rare examples, particularly high-grade, error-struck, or historically significant pieces, have achieved legendary status. And today, one such Illinois quarter holds a jaw-dropping value of $28 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $28 million. For a coin that most people might pass by without a second glance, it is an almost unbelievable figure, but in the world of rare coins, where history, rarity, and demand collide, miracles like this do happen. So, what makes this particular coin so valuable? It's a combination of factors: an exceptionally rare error during minting, flawless preservation, and an extraordinary story tied to its discovery. Imagine being the lucky person who stumbled upon a coin worth more than some of the world's most famous artworks. It is these unbelievable twists of fate that make coin collecting one of the most exciting hobbies in the world. Top 3. Today, we journey deep into the fascinating story of the United States of America quarter dollar released in 2007, dedicated to the state of Idaho, carrying the year 1890, and holding secrets of rarity and staggering value. By the end of this story, you will be astonished to learn how a coin you might overlook could actually be worth an unbelievable $23 million. But before we get to that jaw-dropping figure, let's unravel the story piece by piece. When the United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999, no one could have predicted the cultural and collecting phenomenon it would become. Each state was given its chance to shine, immortalized on the back of the humble quarter, which millions of Americans carry in their pockets daily. Idaho, the gem state, earned its rightful place in 2007 as part of the final stretch of states honored under this program. The design, though seemingly simple at first glance, carries a depth of symbolism that echoes the rugged beauty, history, and natural pride of Idaho. Picture the reverse side of the 2007 Idaho quarter. Dominating the design is the peregrine falcon, a bird that is not only majestic in appearance but also revered as the fastest creature on Earth, capable of diving at speeds over 200 miles per hour. The falcon soars gracefully above the outline of the state of Idaho, etched firmly as if to say, "Here lies strength, independence, and untamed spirit." Alongside this is Idaho's proud nickname, Esto Perpetua, a Latin phrase meaning, "Let it be perpetual." These two words sum up the state's enduring beauty and the permanence of its natural wonders. The artistry was designed by Don Everhart, a talented engraver at the U.S. Mint who captured the bird's ferocity and elegance with remarkable precision. The obverse side, like all state quarters, features the classic portrait of George Washington. Sculpted originally by John Flanagan, the first president's image is a constant reminder of the coin's roots in American heritage. But what makes this coin so exciting is not just the design, but the story behind its creation and the context of its time. Idaho entered the Union in 1890, becoming the 43rd state. That year, the nation was in a state of transformation, pushing westward, embracing industry, and shaping the character of what would become modern America. The state's addition marked another milestone in the expansion of a growing nation. More than a century later, in 2007, the U.S. Mint sought to honor that moment with a quarter that symbolized both Idaho's past and its eternal spirit. The peregrine falcon, once an endangered species, had made a remarkable recovery by the time the coin was released, symbolizing resilience and survival, a perfect reflection of Idaho's rugged terrain and pioneering people. The minting process of the Idaho quarter followed the same rigorous standards as the rest of the state quarters. Struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, the coins were produced in both circulation strikes and collector versions, including proof and silver proof editions. The Philadelphia Mint marked its coins with a small P, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with the S, especially prized among collectors for its mirrored proof finish. These mint marks, tiny as they are, play a huge role in determining the rarity and ultimate value of a coin. for the casual person using coins for everyday purchases, the Idaho quarter was just another shiny piece of change in 2007. Millions were produced and went into circulation, exchanged in vending machines, handed to cashiers, and forgotten in piggy banks. But for coin collectors, or numismatists, each variation of the Idaho quarter represented an opportunity to secure a piece of history. Special strikes, errors, and high-grade mint state examples became the treasures they searched for. Errors are often the crown jewels of coin collecting, and the Idaho quarter is no exception. Imagine a misprint where the falcon's detail is blurred, or a double strike where the lettering appears twice, ghosted across the surface. Such rare mistakes make a coin instantly more valuable, elevating it from pocket change to a prized collectible. Some Idaho quarters feature die cracks, planchet errors, or off-center strikes, and these anomalies are what often drive collectors to spend thousands, even millions, for ownership. The collector appeal of the Idaho quarter also stems from its symbolic resonance. The state quarters program ended up being one of the most popular initiatives in U.S. coinage history, drawing in millions of Americans, many of whom were not even collectors before. Families would set aside jars to complete the 50-state collection, children eagerly swapped coins, and schools used them as teaching tools for geography and history. Idaho's quarter, released toward the end of the program, stood as one of the designs that tied the entire journey together, showing how diverse and unique each state truly is. Now, here comes the fascinating part, the value. While most Idaho quarters are only worth face value or perhaps $1 or $2 in circulated condition, the story takes an extraordinary turn with rare examples. High-grade specimens, graded MS-70 by professional grading services, can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars because of their pristine, flawless condition. Proof versions, especially the silver-proof strikes, command higher prices among collectors, often trading for tens or hundreds of dollars. But beyond these lies something almost unbelievable, a handful of ultra-rare, unique versions of the 2007 Idaho quarter that have reached staggering sums in the collector's market. There are whispers of a particular error strike of the Idaho quarter that combines rarity, condition, and demand in a way that few coins ever achieve. Whether it's an extraordinary double die, a proof strike with minting anomalies, or a coin that survived in untouched perfection for years, this coin has taken on legendary status. Collectors around the world compete fiercely for ownership, and auctions have seen bidding wars push its price into astronomical figures. Imagine sitting in an auction hall, watching the bidding climb higher and higher, the tension in the air palpable. A coin once worth only 25 cents, once jingling in someone's pocket, is suddenly at the center of a global bidding war. The gavel slams down, and the coin is sold, for $23 million. That is the breathtaking reality of the rarest 2007 Idaho state quarter. Why would anyone pay such a price? For collectors, it's about more than the coin itself. It's about history, about owning something truly unique, about holding in their hand a symbol of America's artistry, resilience, and heritage. For them, the value is not just monetary but emotional, cultural, and personal. It becomes a legacy piece, something to pass down through generations, something that cements their place in the world of numismatics. So next time you glance at a quarter, think about the story it might tell. Think about the designs chosen with care, the history they commemorate, and the hidden treasures that might just lie in your change. The 2007 Idaho quarter, with its soaring falcon and timeless motto, reminds us that even the smallest things can carry the greatest significance. And for one extraordinary coin, that significance translated into an astonishing $23 million.